NRL Round 10, Sydney Roosters too much for the Warriors. Let's take a look how they got it done. Hey team, welcome back into the Warriorholic. Yeah, I'm back again. Depressing weekend in a lot of ways, but shit, that's the reality we're living with at the moment. We'd love things to be better, but they're not. So I thought, no, I'm going to jump on here and provide a bit of insight, provide a bit of balance for those people out there feeling pretty down on themselves right now. Because yet again, in defeat, I still think there were positives there. This is not the COVID years. This is not when our guys just give up after 10 minutes and just let teams walk over us completely. We still fought to the end. If we go back 18 months, that's all we were asking for. Play with heart and at least fight till then. The boys did that. That said, 38-18 to the Roosters. Massive congratulations to them. They were absolutely clinical in that first 15 minutes. Some of the best footy I've seen in a very, very long time. Not too many teams would have defended what they threw at them. I'm trying to think of how you describe it. Genuine speed, power, size, X factor, cohesion, and confidence. It's bloody hard to stop that when you're not on your game. The NRL was like these micro margins. If you're slightly off, the other team's on, you're getting done. Look at the Broncos last week. Granted, they had injuries, so did we. Everyone thinks the Broncos could still win the comp, but they lost to the Roosters by 40-18. So I think it's not as bad as we think. That said, it's far from bloody good. I'm just going to flash a couple of these stats here to put it in perspective of why I'm proud of the boys. After 15 minutes, I was texting friends thinking this could genuinely be an 80-point game. We looked completely lost. It was like watching, the All Blacks trialing against, Italian second 15. There was such a gap in the speed and the precision of the game. And as part of that, I think they completed their first 10 sets, and we had like maybe 3 sets compared to their first 10 and 1 tackle in the opposition half. But to get it back to 51% possession, I'm not trying to say that this is a win because we won stats. I'm just trying to show you the closeness of these margins. And when it comes to NRL footy, we had more time in possession. We got more sets completed in the end. We ran more. They got more meters than us. We got more post-contact meters. They got more line breaks than us. We got more tackle breaks. We had a faster play of the ball. These are all key stats that we got up there and matched them in after getting our asses handed to us in the first 15 minutes. I got called a defeatist for saying we won the last 65 minutes. We won the last 65 minutes of a game against a team who's put on 150 points in the last 3 weeks and didn't let them get their third game in a row with 40 points. That's not a complete defeatist attitude. That's a recognition of 3 years ago, we would have got done by 100. So you've got to recognize that we are doing shit right, but it's the minute things we're not getting right that are contributing to these losses. When we look at defense, 81.79% is not good enough, but shit, they only defended at 87%. They made more tackles than us. They missed more tackles than us. But we had way more ineffective tackles, which is something that really concerns me. 25 ineffective tackles that normally we would cover up. We're struggling to lock down second phase play at the moment, particularly against an expansive, fast team like them. That was a real problem for me. And finally, negative plays. They had no errors in the first 10 minutes, and then they had 12. We only had 11. They had 8 penalties conceded. That could have been a lot more. I don't know if you guys saw that video I posted just as a joke, but I thought it was quite ironic. Luke Carey basically playing gridiron and pushing Jackson Ford out of the way to make the space for one of Dom Young's line breaks. I mean, shit, the chicken wing, all of these kind of things, they're not why we lost. We put the refs out of the game in the first 15 minutes, not in the right way this week. Ruck infringements and inside the 10s, they weren't really given on both sides, right? 2 ruck infringements each and then 2 inside the 10 for them and 1 for us. So we were in the game statistically. So where did we lose it? So we did lose it in the first 15 minutes. And unfortunately, and I hate calling out individuals, but one of the key issues here was not having that trust in the man inside him, Kossi, jamming a couple of times there, not trusting that Adam Pompey could secure or at least push Manu across to run them out of space. Coming in, Manu strong enough to offload, Dom Young walks in. Those are things that are a confidence thing, they are a trust thing that we're just really down on at the moment. So I talked about all those positive words that the Roosters are demonstrating at the moment. What are we lacking? We're lacking cohesion. We saw SJ throw into Mitch Barnett's shoulder when he was meant to be a dummy runner. Who's wrong there? Lack of communication, not trusting the guy inside to make the tackles, um, bouncing off tackles and not coming back and not tying the ball up. Things like the small effort areas are really lacking at the moment. Not by everyone and not all the time, but we're just seeing those little lapses in concentration get punished against quality teams. Um, I want to give a shout out to Mitch Barnett. That guy has just played 120% every game this season. And for me, he's the player of the season, both in effort and output. His effort, you can't question it, but he's probably getting frustrated that when we're seeing the opposition make a break and it's past the point of no return, you're not going to stop them. It's him and it's Jackson and one or two other players who are still putting in every effort to run right until the last second, whereas a lot of our players, if you go back and watch that game again, as soon as the line break's made, they stop running. They believe it's inevitable. So that's a hunger thing. It's a mental thing. And I don't know why it's happening, but I believe it started against the Sharks. When we made those errors and we let those early tries in and you're fighting to get back in the game, you fatigue yourself and you don't quite get there 2, 3 times. It starts to eat your confidence. Last year, we always believed we'd get back into it after that comeback against the Sharks. That gave us a belief. That's what kept us in a lot of games. But this year, we haven't done that. The only genuine, really good win we've had is against South, so complete mud. So it's a lack of confidence and starting to have a lack of belief that they are good enough to win this comp. And if we're honest, we probably don't think that anymore either. It could be one win that turns out around, but I don't know when that comes, given the injuries and who we're up against over the next couple of weeks. So it's a systemic thing that has just started to come into our game, and it's going to be a real test of Webby's leadership to try and get that confidence back. And that's the one thing he identified in the post-match is a lack of confidence. The guys don't believe. But you saw in the weekend, like he sort of said there, somehow they managed to get back and consolidate themselves to get back in the game. But if we're probably honest, it's the Roosters' errors that led us back into it rather than our effort. But we got back into it. But what I've always said, right since the game where I sat in the 1NZ boxing in the corner by the south stand there, right by the try line at ground level, and watching those back-to-back tries that the Sharks put on us, and not one of our leaders stood up and pulled the boys together, got them focusing, other than Mitch Barnett. And I've been watching it. They're not doing it. There's no on-field leadership really grasping and getting guys back on task, and it's just guys running around with like their heads cut off and getting angry at each other. So I've got no idea how they turn this around, if I'm completely honest. So to finish this one up today, I just want to talk about something a little bit more. I don't know if it's positive, it's just something interesting, is who we might see run out there this week. Who gets named on Team List Tuesday? Not that that really makes much difference, since we know Webby likes a late change. At the moment, SJ is unlikely to play, probably 3 to 4 weeks. Walker, I don't know whether he re-injured the same ankle or a different ankle, but he definitely did an ankle injury that he was really struggling with. Metcalf, we know, is gone. Chanel Harris-Davida could potentially be back this week, but I don't want to rush him back with a calf strain because that could cost him for the rest of the season. More likely to be back for the Dolphins. Luke Hanson, I believe, is still out in Cup. I don't know what's wrong with him. Geronimo Doyle got injured in the weekend. We saw Ali Lauatoa had to go into 5'8" for the Cup team. So there's another couple of halves options that are out of contention. RTS gone 4 to 6 weeks. On top of that, you've got Capewell. Marata potentially due back for the Dolphins, but not going to help us this week. Sifakula still 2 or 3 weeks away, and Lasic, he won't play. That'll be a Category 1. What does that leave us with? So I had a bit of a think, and this is who I came up with. I'd love to hear who you'd go with, but I'm going for Tane at fullback. The reason for that is I want to put Chance into 5'8", but playing on the right. I think Tane's probably got the best kicking game of those players left fit. Been doing a lot of kicking from fullback in general play. He's got a good long punt on him, so I'd be having him with the long kicking game and using Tamati Martin for more of the attacking kicks. We saw he had a great grubber a couple of times during the weekend. We're going to stick with Dallin and Rocco. Big props to Dallin for chasing Young down. I didn't realise that he still had that much pace, because I thought Young was one of the fastest wings in the comp. Rocco Berry also chasing him down after the line break, thanks to the NFL-style blocking there. Pompey I'm sticking with. I think we've got to persevere with him. He proved himself last year, and also his goal kicking. I'm going for, and this is a tough one. Man, I love Ed Costian. I'm glad to see him back. I think he had a lot of upsides, but I have to find a way to get Ali Lauatoa in here, and I think I would put him on the wing. Great to see Montoya didn't drop his head. He played his ass off in Cup, got himself a try, but we need that X factor. We're seriously lacking that person who can just turn the game around. I believe he's probably the most X factor player we've got, so I'm putting him on the wing. I'm going for, as I said, C&K at 5'8". Now, a lot of people have called for Tane Tuolpiki to be in there at 5'8". I don't think he's big enough to deal with the frontline defence up against the Panthers pack and their massive centres. So I'm going to give that job to Chance. He's more experienced. He's got a better, he's a bigger body. He'll defend better. Tane, we know, is more than capable at the back. It does cost us a little bit in those metres, but I think Chance will bring other aspects of there, like particularly with his defence. And Tamati Martin in the 7 jersey, but playing on predominantly on the left-hand side there, but taking a much bigger role in the playmaking. Not ideal, but like I said, when you've got 5 or 6 of your halves out at the moment, that's who I'm going for. In the forwards, I'm going to go for AFB, and I'm going to Egan if he's fit. I heard he might have a bit of an injury, but should I hope not. I'm going to go for Buntiafo starting for the first 20 minutes again. Then I'm going to go for Mitch on an edge, but I'm going to bring him back into the middle after the first sub, and I'm going to have Jackson obviously there with Tohu. And on my bench, I'm going to give Ben Farr a debut. Another kid who I think has genuine speed, X factor. If you're going to have someone there to cover hooker, he's played hooker growing up, more than capable of playing at a pinch. A lot like CHT, really aggressive defender for his size. He's really quick. I think he brings more than Roach off the bench. Roach is probably a better hooker, but I just think I'd like to see him there, particularly if we did struggle with the option of having C&K at 5'8". Ben Farr is a more than capable replacement there. But he also plays everywhere in the back line, and he's got genuine speed. So I'm going for him. Jazz, Jacob Laban, so he'll come onto an edge after the first break and move Mitch Barnett into the front row, and Tom Ale. And I'm going to look at giving Tom Ale and Jazz earlier minutes this week. I don't think we want to just keep leaving our big guys out there just to try and use their experience and their ability to potentially match the opposition, because they're just getting gassed. I think both Jazz and Tom Ale had a really solid impact off the bench, bringing their energy. Tom Ale's, I think it was one of his best games he's played so far this season. Jazz just dragged himself off the ground time after time, making those tackles. The speed of his play of the ball, a bit of aggression, that's what we've been missing. I can't think of anyone else that you could potentially bring in that's going to strengthen the team. It's batten down the hatches and just get through this week, and then hopefully we get CHT and Marata Niakoria back next week. I'm not sure what it means for guys like Capewell, Walker, SJ. Too many unknowns. What do you guys reckon? Oh, God, it's going to be a long bloody week, but still all in. Looking forward to Teamless Tuesday. I think we'll see a couple of surprises named within the entire squad, but who knows who the heck will actually start on the weekend, because as we know, Webby loves a change. Up the mighty Wars, I'm still in.